Manchester United, what kind of season are they going to have? Here's the thing, Alex. Before we hear from Ten Hag, so they go in last night, pre-season, and they lose to Dortmund in Vegas 3-2. I'm never that sure, Carl, how much these games tell us, to be quite honest.
They tell you absolutely nothing.
No.
I think you see the amount of games that they play, the heat that they play in, the levels are nothing like the Premier League that they're going to be subject to week in, week out. It's purely, as we all know, it's money driven. I think if you ask any manager, would they do without these trips? I think 100% they'd all say yes, they didn't want to go.
Sure.
So from my point of view, it's a spectacle for a different viewing audience.
Okay, they're about to get this fella Højlund, the Atalanta striker, in a deal worth 72 million quid. So all of a sudden, Alex, where this is Manchester United, we are talking about, it's closing in on a £180 million summer spend. £180 million summer spend. So all this talk about the Glazers selling up hasn't impacted on anything, has it?
Well, it was never going to. And in fairness, Simon Jordan all the way through suggested that would be the case, because at the moment Manchester United are a going concern. It's in the Glazers' interests if they want to get top dollar for the football club, which clearly they do. And the reason that the club hasn't been sold is because nobody's met their £6 billion asking price. Let's not beat around the bush on that one. But they need Manchester United to at least be competing regularly in the Champions League, which is not something they've always done since Sir Alex Ferguson left the football club. And they need them to be challenging for silverware. And again, that's certainly not something they've done since Ferguson left. So I know what you're doing here. I know what your producer's trying to do. He's going to try and get me to say I was wrong about the Glazers, and fair play to them. This is not their own money. This is money
it doesn't matter.
generated from the biggest football club in the world. And they needed to spend £180 million because Ten Hag worked miracles to get that squad back in the top four in the Cup finals last season.
No. When you looked last year, they spent over €400 million in 12 months.
And they needed to spend it because the squad was so short of quality because it's been so badly neglected.
Do you blame the owners for that?
I blame the owners for not necessarily getting the right people in the top jobs at the football club.
Yeah, I take that. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think, but it's not the owner's fault in relation to. Surely the owner's responsibility is to fund the football club to the best of their ability with the finances and giving them the availability to do so.
But United are Johnny Splattercash at the moment, Alex. So why are there promises of further protests from certain sections of the support?
Because the fundamental situation hasn't changed. Yes, they've spent money, but this is not the Glazers writing their own cheques. It's money generated from the football club. They haven't ever put their own money into the football club. The stadium still is in a bit of a state of disrepair and needs a lot of renovation work. The training ground is still well behind in terms of Manchester City.
So if they hadn't spent 180 million up until this point, and the Glazers had come out with a statement, sorry, but we're concentrating on refurbishing Old Trafford, they'd have been up in arms at that. Yeah.
They've not addressed the stadium issue, and released a statement. They released a statement in November suggesting they were looking for fresh finance and maybe even a full sale of the football club. They've not spoken since. We're 8 months down the line. We still don't know who's going to own the football club.
Alex, the bottom line is, are things that bad at Manchester United?
They could be better. This is an institution.
Yeah, I agree with that, but surely at some stage, if you put 10 Manchester United fans in front of you and you're going to win the Premier League next season,
do you think that's the case?
Would they take it?
No, but do you think that's the case?
They're going to be closer.
They're going to be closer?
Yeah, listen.
But ask 10 Manchester United fans how they feel about the fact that Manchester City, their neighbours, have gone so far ahead of them in recent years.
I understand that, but
how's that been allowed to happen?
Nobody can control Manchester City and their spending power in the last 10 years, surely.
Liverpool have won a Premier League title since United last won it. They don't spend the same money that Manchester City do.
I just feel that there's so much criticism being put on it. It's almost like a blame culture a little bit to a certain extent on the ownership. Listen, I thoroughly agree with where the money comes from is wrong. I think the way they run the football club is not correct. It's not how we institutionally expect football clubs to be run. But equally, I do look at it and think to myself, there's a lot of other teams that have put money into the training ground. Look at Leicester City.
Yeah.
Leicester City have put so much money into their stadium, so much money into their training ground, arguably the best training ground in the country, and end up getting relegated.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, so it's almost, for me, I think they've got to be careful, or sometimes what you wish, as a fan, what type of fan are we screaming out? Because there'll be a lot of fans who only care about Man United win the Premier League.
What's the ambition, though, of a football club manager and the owner of a football club going into every season? It's to progress. Manchester United haven't progressed under the Glazers. They've regressed.
If you looked at everything, I would say was sustainability. Like this, where when I do listen and I do agree with Simon, I think my responsibility as a manager is to make sure the football club doesn't get in financial problems.
Well, United have got massive debts.
Right? But at the top level, that's out of the manager's control.
We're going to put it.
But it's not out of the owner's control, those debts. They didn't have those debts when they purchased the football club.
We'll put it out there, though, Alex. At this early stage in the show, I mean, Alex is having a dig at the owners this morning, and he would say he's not wrong to do that. Many United fans will go with that. Many United fans listening this morning, Carl, are listening in the knowledge that they will take part in the next protest. But what is the point of a protest when the Glazers, under the Glazers ownership, which is ongoing, they haven't sold up yet, the football club has spent 180 million quid so far this summer, and it doesn't look like ending at that. And when you think of it, Alex, maybe the emphasis should shift from owners to players, because United won a trophy last season. Sure, well done, they won the Carabao Cup. They couldn't beat City in the final of the FA Cup. The players couldn't beat City's players. The players could have done better in Europe, but they didn't win a European trophy when they might have done. So we could and should maybe have been talking about United winning a treble.
That's because the Glazers have signed some very bad players, and the people they've put in place have signed some very poor players. So it's the Glazers' fault.
The Glazers' fault for signing bad players.
All comes back to the owners.
On that though as well.
All comes back to the owners.
Yeah.
If you look back, Rashford only just signed a long-term contract.
So thanks to Ten Hag. Because, again, they made disastrous managerial appointments. This is the ownership who appointed Ralph Rangnick as manager.
I have to agree with you there.
Yeah, but would you praise the Glazers for the Carabao Cup win or not?
I praise Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah.
I take it you like Ten Hag.
I do like Ten Hag a lot.
So when
notice that.
When things go well, it's Ten Hag has got them there. But when things go badly, it's the Glazers' fault. That's basically it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair
fair
price of the situation.
Just as a Liverpool fan, this is brilliant. when the fans don't get on with the owners, there's uproar internally.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.